Welcome to the Nothing Much Just Chillin' show with your hosts Emma and Julio. Nothing much, just chillin' show. Nothing much, just a chillin'.
Welcome back to NMJC, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Emma, and this is my podcast called Nothing Much Just Chillin'. And it's not really a podcast, it's more like a heart-to-heart between friends on FaceTime. So if you're into that, stick around, subscribe, follow the pod, follow me on Instagram, NMJC Podcast. I'm trying to pump out reels as best as I can. And thank you to everyone who has continued to support and listen and like and comment and share and all that stuff. I appreciate you all so much. Let's get into it. Well, actually, I don't even know what we're going to get into today because my notes for this episode, they're pretty bleak, honestly. Like I've had a busy few weeks, and the last two podcast episodes had a lot of points to cover. And this one, I just wrote down random things in my phone. Like my first note is just boys and sports. Because I was doing this whole bit with Julio about how he and all men, not all men, no, about how he and a lot of men, boys, whatever, male species, they just seem to like know everything about sports. Like when Julio and I watched Jeopardy, if there is a category that is about sports, Julio knows every single answer. And it's crazy. I just look at him like, that's not even a sport that you've ever played or liked. It'll be a baseball question and he'll be like, oh yeah, it's Babe Ruth or something. Like, I don't understand how he knows all these sports things. Well, what sparked this is because a delivery guy at work came in, and he comes in every day. Like we're besties. No, we literally just say hi and bye. But this particular time he talked to me more, and he was asking me about the Lakers. He was like, oh, did you see the Lakers game? And I was just like, what Lakers game? I don't know. What is my hair doing? I'm so sorry if you're watching this on video and you see me adjusting my hair a million times. I can't look at myself right now. So I say, oh, did they play last night? And he was like, yeah. He was so shocked. He was like taken aback that I didn't know that the Lakers played the night before. This was last week. And I know what you're thinking, Emma. One of the biggest moments in sports is happening right now, right? I couldn't even tell you what it's called. Playoffs? The playoffs for the NBA playoffs. It's the NBA playoffs. I was like, no, yeah, I didn't watch. I didn't even know they were playing. I'm not really into sports. He just couldn't fathom the fact that I didn't know what was going on with the Lakers right now. And to be fair, he's right. I should know. Like, that is my city. I'm not from LA, but I guess I don't like claim LA. That's such a weird thing to say. I don't know. I don't claim any city, but I grew up in Maryland, close to Baltimore. So a lot of people that I grew up with and my parents are fans of the Ravens, the Orioles, what's that team called now? The Washingtons? The Washington team? I don't know. Whatever it's called now. I don't remember. But yeah, a lot of people are fans of those teams. I'm a fan of none because I don't care about sports. I could not care less. Even if I'm watching a game, I'm never rooting for somebody to win. Unless I'm watching it with Julio and Julio really wants somebody to win or somebody to lose, then I just want what Julio wants because I like him to be happy, you know? It just makes things easier when your partner's team wins and the one that they didn't want to win loses. That's just a nice thing to have them in a good mood, you know? So I was saying how I don't claim LA really, but I should know what's going on in LA sports because I live here. I've lived here for the past over 6 years. So I should be a fan. Well, I guess I don't have to. I guess you don't have to be a fan of the teams where you live. Do you guys think that's a thing? Should I? Should I like sports, guys? Having a crisis right now. So a couple days later, I was asking Julio who won the night before, and he goes, I don't know. And I was like, whoa, you don't know? This didn't come with your daily boy download in the morning. Like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel like every morning boys just get a download of what happened in sports the day before. Like, that's where I'm at with that, because I just cannot fathom knowing so much about sports. But as I was writing that down, I remember thinking, well, I know a lot about things that men don't know about. I know what all the beauty trends are, not all of them, but like I know what the beauty trends are right now. I know all the tea on Haley and Selena. I know all the tea on Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, you know? Obviously I don't know like all the tea, but all right, I'm taking a swift exit from that conversation and talking about Glenn Powell. I have met Glenn Powell at his birthday party. I was hired by an alcohol canned drink company to go shoot content at his birthday party because they were one of the providers of alcohol there. And so I go in and I didn't know it was themed. I didn't know it was a themed event. I think it was like 80s athletic wear, something like that. And I go in and I'm wearing like black pants and like a checkered blazer. Like I look so formal because I was doing a job, right? And at like a fancy, what I thought was I was going to a fancy celebrity party. I mean, that is what it was, but they were just all in like athletic, bright neon colored gear. And I just looked so out of place. But I was just like, there's nothing I can do now. Like I did not get the memo, whatever, suck it up. I'm going to get my bag and go home. So I was with somebody who worked for the alcohol company. And her and I were just standing, kind of plotting, taking pictures of just the cans and yeah, just hanging out. And then Glenn Powell comes over to us. And mind you, I did not know who Glenn Powell was. I don't know what he's in besides this new movie that's coming out with Sydney Sweeney. I have no idea how he's famous. I don't think I've ever watched anything with him in, or maybe I have, but maybe I just didn't recognize him. I don't know. I just knew he was a celebrity, but that's it. So he comes over to us and I was like, oh my God, please be nice. Please be nice. I was so worried that he would be mean. And he comes over and he is just like, hey, like, thank you guys so much for being here. Like, thank you for doing this. Anything you need, let me know. He was being such a kind, good host. Like he was so nice. So I thought. So he leaves and then me and this girl are talking. We're like, wow, he was so nice. Like that was so nice. I felt so much better. I felt so safe in that environment because I was really like, oh my God, I was scared. It's a high pressure job when you're supposed to be doing event photography. That in itself is so hard. Event photography is very, very hard thing to do. Like you really have to suss out who doesn't want their picture taken and who does. It's not just a regular shoot where somebody is like one person is paying you or a brand is paying you at a photo shoot, or it's just your friend or a model and it's like this intimate experience. Like, no, this is chaos. It's chaos. You have to really suss out who's comfortable being on camera, and it's very hard to make those decisions in the moment. So I was like, okay, I felt so good after he came and talked to us. And then not even a minute later, someone from his team, possibly his manager, comes over to us and very rudely tells us to leave and that we aren't welcome at the party. And my mind is I'm not hearing the words that she's saying because I was still on a high from what Glenn told us, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling good, and what she said I just could not process. And then I scanned the room to look for Glenn, and Glenn is looking right at us with his little posse. He's around a bunch of people. He's looking right at me. And I see in his eyes that he was like, yeah, she'll do the dirty work. I'll remain in good graces as a celebrity. I did my duty being nice to these random people so that they don't hate me and don't tell people that like I'm a rude celebrity or whatever. Like I'm going to let my people handle it. And we had to leave. And I didn't get paid. Or I got paid like some, but not as much as I would have if I actually did the job. We just had to work with like the photos of the cans that I had already gotten. But I was so angry. I was so angry. Like, fuck you. I was so mad at him that he couldn't just do that himself and be direct. Like, if he didn't want us here, then why did he go through the trouble to come over to us, to make us feel welcome, to be nice, to tell him when we needed something? Like, I can't fathom the thought process. That is crazy, to be fake nice to someone and then have your people come over and kick them out while you stare like, oh yeah, bye, yep. Like, you forgot what you just said, or you were acting. He's an actor, so he's a really good actor. So that's what I have to say about Glenn Powell. He's a very good actor, and I fell for it. If you guys are hearing that story about Glenn Powell right now, be grateful, because I was not going to share that, because I'm just not a petty person. I don't know why I just said that. I'm a Pisces. Of course I'm petty. So now that we got that out of the way, boys in sports. Okay, another note that I have is lifting feet at railroad tracks. So I always lift my feet up when I cross railroad tracks. I have no idea who told me to do that or who told me that that will bring good luck, but I always do it to have good luck. And I don't fucking know if it works, but it's just a superstition that I have. Does anybody else do this? Or like, where did that come from? Am I the only one who does that? Or is that a thing? Because I've never heard somebody else say that, and I want to know. That's the end of that note. So for the end of this episode, I kind of want to do an extension of episode 85, How to Get Out of a Creative Rut, where I talked about the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I thought that was a really good episode, and I want to extend on it and share some more tangible advice on how to get out of a creative rut. Random things that have worked for me. Number one being, if you are stuck in a creative rut of your craft, right? Like, for example, I'm a photographer and a videographer. What if I am just like, I don't know what to take a picture of. I don't know what my next shoot should be. I don't know anything. I don't have any inspiring thoughts and ideas right now. And I'm just feeling a little burnt out picking up the camera and shooting. I'll do something completely different right now, just because it's right in front of me. I'm at my vanity in my room. Like, an example would be like, maybe I just go ham on makeup one day. Like, what if I just like beat my face to the gods and I try out a new makeup look and I just put all my creativity into doing my makeup as cool as possible? Or I research a new recipe that I want to try, and I spend hours cooking, preparing it, and allowing that to be a creative process. Or maybe I'll just sit down and write out my thoughts, write out what's in my head, write a song, write a poem. Doing other forms of creativity that aren't your craft, that you're stuck on, is going to help. I swear to God, I swear to you, it is going to help. So that's the first advice. Get out of your own lane. Go into other lanes, explore, see what's out there, and then come back once you've lived a little life. Okay, my second one is play. Play with your craft. When I was really feeling, I don't know, uninspired, or just kind of, I was just getting back into photography, getting back into the swing of things after the pandemic, I bought myself a toy camera. listen, this is the best $25 I've ever spent. I bought a toy camera on Amazon and I fucking love this thing. My toy camera is amazing. It's magical. It makes everything so cool. And, it's just a toy. It's literally just a toy, but it films and it takes pictures. And I remember when I started using it, I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like I was so inspired again to frame a photo. I was so inspired to catch a moment, to catch the light, to find good lighting for the shitty little toy camera. And it really opened my eyes to how I want to feel when I shoot again, how I used to feel when I shoot, how I want to get back to that place of joy and play and my inner child. So have fun with it. I'm trying to think of an example for something else. Like, another example is Julio will, when he's feeling burnt out or in a rut from his creativity, his craft, which is music, he bought last year in September, he bought this little, what's it called? Xylophone? I don't know, this little chime thing. And he bought it at like a music store in New York and he was really excited about it. And he still like plays on it now and he'll just have fun with it. And it's not even like it's a real instrument. Anything could be a real instrument. So yeah, number 2, play around with different forms, different mediums within your craft. And then last but not least, number 3, do it with other people. Invite other people to do creative things with you. Like with my 3 photographers shoot the same model and location series that I just started, I'm inviting other photographers, I'm inviting models, and it's a collaborative experience. And you don't realize like how much in your head you are when you're by yourself, when you're working by yourself all the time, when you're editing and creating and making solely by yourself. You forget how much of a collaborative experience art can be. And it's so beautiful when the process of making art is shared and enjoyed with other people. It makes you want to do better, not because of competition, but just because you get inspired by other people. You get inspired by other people's processes. Like I was so inspired by how Sam made her own filters for our shoot with like little gems and prisms on them. Like I thought that was such a good, cute idea. And I also feel like when I was watching her pose Chelsea, she was posing her like very like soft and dancer and ballet, and it was just very ethereal. I learned how to say that word. That's a great thing that came from that shoot. I learned how to say that word because I was like, oh, Chelsea, you look ethereal. And then I immediately was like, that's wrong, isn't it? And Maya was like, yep. But I've done that before, so I feel seen. And then I was also very inspired by Maya because every time she started her turn to take photos, she would tell Chelsea like what she wanted her to embody. Like I can't remember the specifics right now, but she would be like, she would just come up with like a whole story about who Chelsea should be in that shot. And I thought that was genius. I was like, oh my God, I need to think more about that. It really inspired me to think more about it and have a story in my head before I go to shoot. That shoot was just, I was a little bit of a mess because I was basically the producer. Like I planned it all. So it was kind of like on my watch, on my direction. I was playing like multiple roles at once. So I kind of didn't have the energy to think of a whole novel for Chelsea like Maya had, but it really inspired me to take that into my other shoots, to have that conversation with the model or client before I even take the picture, because I think it helped so much. I really saw Chelsea, the model, take Maya's notes, take Maya's direction into consideration, and she was just like very easy to pose and create art with, because she's just such a natural beauty and such a natural talent when it comes to modeling. So you'd be surprised how much inspiration can come from working with other people. And Julio too, he's been trying to collab with more of his friends who do producing and music, and I think it's helping him get some ideas out, get some ideas going, and not feel like it just makes you feel like you're not alone on an island where it's only you paddling and you're like, oh my God, my fucking creativity. It helps you get out of that hole and see the light and see like, oh yeah, what we all have is our gifts, and appreciating talent and creativity in other people will help you see like, oh, that I have that in myself too. So that's it for me today, guys. I am so excited about next week's episode because it's going to be a recap of my Boston Calling experience. Julio and I are going to Boston on Thursday. We are going to be going to Boston Calling, the music festival, to see our friend Jay's band perform, Blue Light Bandits. Jay is actually the creator of our theme song here at NMJC, so it's going to be really, it's just, he's an amazing musician. He's so talented and his band is amazing. So I'm so excited to see them, or I was so excited to see them, but now recently I found out that I'm going to be shooting them and it will be my first time bringing my professional cameras into a music festival. I'm so pumped. So that'll be fun next week. Hopefully I can get Julio to be on next week's episode as well. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Nothing much, just a chillin'.